Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we can celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Welcome back. We are so excited to have you. This week, we're going to be talking about living in line instead of starting over because, y'all, it is 2026. Welcome to a whole new year. I hope you guys had a great New Year's. We love you all. We're so excited that you're here joining us. We have some really fun, exciting things planned, and we're just ready to take the ground running. And so, one of the things we really want to talk about is not starting over because we hear this concept all the time. New year, new me. Reality, you are the same person. Nothing's changed. Just the year has changed, which, by the way, it goes by by the sun, and some calendars go by the moon. So in reality, who knows what year, what day we're in, right? But who you are can change in any time frame, any time period. And it can start by just living how you want to be. So if you want to be better about waking up earlier, then taking small steps and already practicing and living up to that is a great start. Or let's say you want to practice more patience. So, you're working on walking away when you can't find that patience, right? And so, like, taking small steps is like maybe putting a reminder on your phone, right? And so, we're talking about really not starting over and having that feeling of like, oh, I have to like throw away everything in my house. I have to throw away my mindset. I have to buy a new alarm clock. Like, we don't got to do all that. All right.
Yeah, I took a very different approach this year than I ever did. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people on social media are talking about this too, but it just like is naturally how I felt like I wanted to go into the new year is like, who do I want to be? Because it makes you feel so good when, something happens. There's always going to be things that try to knock you down, right? And you can be like, but, this personally for me, I'm working a lot on like one of my identities is not feeling like I need to fix other people's emotional like other people emotionally are relying on me. This is just something personally that I'm working on. I was journaling about this morning. And so instead of being like, oh man, like maybe I should have said that differently or done this differently or whatever, not that I did anything wrong, just like me overthinking, right? What I'm doing and how I'm talking to people. And I now am like, no, I am the person that lets it go because I know that I like my identity. And this is just who we are, but I think we forget who we are. And that's the most important thing that you can do starting the year off is to know who you are. So
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely want people to be happy. I want to do the right thing always. And I'm not perfect, but if I do something wrong, I've been telling myself like it's in the past. Learn from it, move on. You're not the person that wants to hurt someone else. That's your identity. And like I have many identities that I told Ashley, I've been writing them all down in my little notebook. Been writing down all the things that I know that I am. It's just sometimes you focus on the negative things in your life. And so this episode is really about who do you want to be? Like who are you? If you feel like you aren't that the identity that you want to be, what are the identities that you want to be? Who do you want to be? And it can be things like, I validate myself. That's one of the things I've been talking about for many months, like I've been working on. I'm patient with my children and I pause before I explode and think and set my boundaries with them and let them know I need time instead of being like, stop it. And there's just different things that I'm like, every time I think of something, I have a spot in my notebook, but it can be anywhere that I write them down. And I feel like I did this before I even really made my vision board. And so that's kind of how I made my vision board is I took these things that, yeah, some of them are goals for the year. Like I want to be better at golf. I want to learn piano. Like there's things like that. But some of them are how I want to feel, who I want to be. And it's not fake. It's not fake at all. Like I'm not trying to be someone else. I'm trying to be myself. And if you believe in God, like I've been leaning a lot more into God in the past year or two than I ever feel like I have, which is ironic because I used to go to temple every single week with my family, but I guess we were younger, but now that I'm older. And so I think of it as realigning to the person that God created me to be. It's not like I'm changing. I'm not being someone else. I'm realigning to the highest person that I know that he created me to be. And that's where these identities are coming from, like the best me and who I want, who I want to
Yeah.
exude every single morning, every
I love
day.
that. And I love that you're like mentioning like you need to start over in a sense with like how you're thinking like that, you have to like not be who you are in a sense. Like you have to really think about, okay, I love this part of me. How can I love this part of me even more now, right? Like, what can I do? How can I show up as that person that I really want to be in a sense? Because unfortunately, like, it's not that you aren't the person you want to be already. It's that life pulls you five different ways or you haven't figured out. It's like you're unlocking a new part of your brain sometimes, a new piece of you. You're like, wow, that thing really triggered me. I never realized that. Or wow, you know, I could have handled that better. I never realized this. Or, I've been doing this so much. I don't like this about myself, right? Or someone noticed something about you and it like made you feel like, wait, is that what you think about me? Right? Like whatever the scenario is, there's so many different scenarios. So I love that you're pointing out that like before you really started this year, it was important that you do this. So maybe let's get rid of this idea of year, right? Let's throw away the idea of year away and say in general, wherever you're standing, if you're listening to this episode in 5 years from now and it's December, or you're listening to this episode in 6 months from now and it's October, right? Wherever you're standing, start with the thought of, I love being a mom. Maybe, finding one activity we can do a week that's special is going to be a more, another way I can show up being more present than I already feel that I am.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and, I feel like too, it's excitement. Like you start, I don't know, like, it's like going to buy a new, like, I don't know, it's like that excitement. Like it
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
bubbling.
It is. And I just feel like people think of it as like a grand change, a huge thing that has to happen. And it's not. It's so like, it's so, the things that you can do to change are so small that it almost feels like you're not changing because
Mhm.
you are changing, but you're not. Like, you're still you. Like, you're still yourself.
Yeah.
It's just that your mindset is going to start to change a little bit when you continuously tell yourself, like, I wake up in the morning and I know people do gratitude and I love gratitude. I sit and I read those pages, like what I wrote out, and I keep adding to it when I think of new things, but I read who I want to be in the morning because it sets the tone for my day. And it's who I am. Like I know it's like confusing because it's like who I want to be, but it's like it's who I already am. That person. I can be all those things today. I can validate myself today. I can work on my golf skills today. That's not actually on there, but you know what I mean. Like you can do all these things
Yeah.
today. These aren't things you have to wait for. You don't have to
I
wait for
think
anything.
I think it's another way of looking at your goals. And I think this is something we were talking about earlier. There's different ways that our brains unlock how to do stuff and how we relate and how we kind of like function through whatever it is. And I really feel like the way you're talking about it really makes it feel like you are living in your goal. Like it's another way instead of saying, okay, I'm going to be a calmer mom. You're saying, I am a calm mom. I do these things, right? Like you're really living in your goal. It's kind of like going to play.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it even gives me that vibe of like when you were a little girl and you would go play dress up and you would pick out what you wanted to be, like, and then you would play that part. And then, like, I don't know, like, even you would find yourself like that. Let's say you really wanted to be, I don't know, a teacher. And so you would find yourself, even when you weren't dressed up as a teacher, you were finding yourself going to talk and act like a teacher, right? Oh, someone didn't know how to put on their shoes and you did. Oh, let me teach you how to put on your shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like you start living who you want to be. And I love that that's, you're not just showing up and saying, hey, I'm going to read my goals every day and I'm going to remind myself of my goals. I'm going to actually tell myself that I am that person. I am reaching my goals. It's like another level of a manifestation. I said that's
Yeah.
so bad. Sorry. That was like
Yeah. Manifestation. It's cool.
it's
Yeah.
like
It's just
10:35. It's still early here for my brain.
I love it. And it's just like little things like this is who I'm telling myself I'm going to be. And you gain more confidence as you practice being that person. And you're never going to be perfect. Like I still blow up at my kids every once in a while. Like, and I'm like, oh, I should have like paused there and, but it's you're reminding yourself every day you are going to turn more and more and more into that highest self person that you're telling yourself you want to be. The more that you practice it, it's like anything, right? Practice makes
Yeah.
perfect. Like you got to practice it, and it feels almost like no change is even happening at all. And that's amazing because a huge change actually does happen within you. You become just like more confident, you become more fulfilled. Like you just you just feel so peaceful, like this huge peaceful feeling because you know that like you're living your life the way that you want to live it. And even if someone doesn't understand or mistakes something that happens to you, you know, like I didn't mean it that way or I didn't mean to do that. And therefore, I'm going to let it go. And it takes practice to do that, but it feels so good.
I feel like you're really describing breaking the habit, breaking the mold, breaking that rule, that invisible rule you made up about whatever it is. Like we make
Mhm.
so many invisible rules. We know we do, right? Like that's a lot of how our brain functions. Like that's like that safety net. Like you're literally stepping out of your safety net. You're like, this is where I am and this is where I want to be. And I'm going to just go for it with my words. And my words, if I keep speaking it, my actions will align with my words. Because let's be real, right? The more you say it, the more you believe in yourself, the more you become who you want to be.
Yeah. And it's deeper than like, I want to be happy. That's great. I'm glad that you want to be happy. But like what's gonna make you happy? You know, what and that takes sometimes some work too. I love journaling. We talk about this all the time. I know Ashley's not as much of like a physical journaler but she does a lot of like thinking in her head, but I continuously ask myself when I'm feeling anxiety or whatever, I'm asking myself, what's this really about? If I'm upset at someone, am I really upset at them or is it something within me that is making me upset because I'm like jealous of that person or I wish that I could do what they're doing or whatever. Like sometimes asking yourself those deeper questions helps you to find out what things you really want to change so that you can be that highest self person. Like I know that's really deep, but I've been doing a lot of that last year and it's like life changing to figure out what you really think about yourself or
Yeah. I
yeah.
think too, we are so set that, we can't be more because, sometimes we do settle, right? And I think until you reach the concept, and I think that's a whole nother conversation, but until you reach that there is more, right? Because that's the first thing. You need to know there's more. There's always more. Like
Mhm.
you might be making $500 extra a month than you were making 6 years ago, right? And you might have a beautiful house and a beautiful family, and you're going on vacation once a year, right? And you're going to the gym, right? Like everything feels good, everything feels great. But there's always more. What can more be? Can more be, oh, more time with my family? Can more be more creative, a creative thing? Can more be, spending more time with my family that lives further away? And I think sometimes it's a level, right? Once you feel comfortable with one thing, you can add another thing. So right now you're comfortable with who you are, but
Yeah.
can you add more?
Yeah.
Right? And that's where okay, I'm going to see who I am. I'm going to show up as the next person, the next level.
Yeah. I was this totally fits in, even though this is really random. So I had my like annual OBGYN appointment today and he's an older doctor. I knew he was gonna retire eventually. So he's like, yeah, I'm retiring in April. And I was like, oh, okay. So we had this whole chit chat. And I was like, so what are you gonna do, after retirement? And he's like, well, by the way, he doesn't listen to podcasts at all. He's so cute. But he was like, well, I can go and take whatever courses I want at UCF. And so he's a medical doctor. So I was like, oh yeah, do you keep up with like medical, whatever? He's like, nope, I've been doing that my whole life. Like, I want to use my brain for something else. And like, he's like, I just don't like to sit still. And I was like, I hope that that is who I am, like, my whole life. Because growth, like Ashley's saying, sometimes it's hard to see yourself wanting more. Like, wanting that more it's been really hard for me. I'm like, but do I deserve that more? Am I worthy of that more? What is there more? This year, one of my more is connecting even more with God and
Uh-huh.
learning about my religion even more. And it can be something like that. It doesn't have to be physical, but it could be physical. But, learning in growth should always be something that we want more of because it's so important, like to continue to grow. That's why we're here on the earth.
I think too is
Tangent.
appreciating the like pit stops along the way. appreciating
Yeah.
the fumbles, appreciating the good stuff, and then also like recognizing when you do meet where you want to be. And then you guys will like, I don't know, like I feel like when you're on fire and you really are like really feeling aligned, even when you get to where you want to be, you'll be itching for more. You'll be itching, for
Yep.
the next thing, right? And it's okay, but make sure you're taking time to like, again, going back to what Jackie was saying from the very get go, like who you are now, and taking time to really like understand who you are and accepting who you are and accepting that sometimes the way you show up and your behavior is actually terrible. Like I think so many times we want to blame someone else or blame something else that's happening and we fall victim for what is happening and we don't take accountability for who we are as a person. And I think this is what this is about. It's taking accountability as a person. And so it could be something you're already doing great at. Like you're already a great mom. How can I be a better mom? But at the same time, I am not good at, I don't know, expressing how I feel and expressing my boundary. This is just an example, right? Okay, so how can then I be better, right? To do that, right? So there's two betters, right? There's I'm already doing great and I know I'm doing great in this, but there's something that I really need to work on. And
Yeah.
then you made it find that it's not that you're having trouble expressing your boundaries, it's that it's you don't know how to use, your tools, your words, right? Like you are saying, I mean, space, but you're not saying it correctly, right? Or you're not learning that person needs you, that person's not expressing that they don't hear you, right? Like you're not having a conversation, hey, my boundaries are not being respected, right? Like you're unlocking another tool almost, right? I think sometimes that's something too, like, or like, hey, I'm trying to be a good mom and I already feel like I'm a great mom. And then you're all, oh, what can I unlock to that next? And all of a sudden you guys find a love to go, I don't know, collect rocks because you guys are already doing all these fun things, right? Like you don't know what you're going to unlock until you step into that role and you step into that person you want to be. Good or bad, it does not matter, but the goal is always to find the good. And sometimes there is going to be bad, and your goal is to continue to find the good and to teach yourself and to teach the people around you, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is like, the reason Jackie and I really started this conversations and these podcasts is because we started realizing that like at the same time things are happening to us because we're both having these moments where we're able to speak about, hey, this is what I'm going through, and then I realize, hey, maybe that's what I'm going through, and we just go back and forth, right? And I sometimes feel
Yeah.
like you just need to find your safe space, find your spot where you can be vulnerable, you can speak up, you can say, this is who I am, and
Hmm.
this is the goods. These are the bads. These are the things that are so. These are the things that other people don't like about me. And I really don't give a hoot, but I love other people. So I'm going to try to show up in a better way for them, which is a big sacrifice in alone, right? And that's another part of like becoming who you want to be is making sacrifices sometimes so that the people you do love are there and you're creating that village.
I love it. Something that you said that I feel like we could do like a whole episode or more on is being accountable for yourself. I feel like it's hard to really have change unless you can let go of your pride and be accountable. Because when you start to think about it, almost everything that gets in the way or happens in your life, you are somehow accountable for. And it's really hard. Like today, I was leaving and I was running late, and the garage door wouldn't go down. And I was like, I'm going to be late because of the garage door. And I was like, no, I'm going to be late because I didn't make enough time for something to happen like this. Like it's accountability. And like
Yeah.
when you realize that and you're just like, my fault, my bad, right? We make mistakes all the time. When Pierce makes a mistake, I'm always like, it was an accident. It's okay. It's okay to have an accident. Accidents happen, and you just gotta learn from them. But like, I feel like that is such like a freeing concept when you can be accountable for yourself and just be
Yeah.
like, my bad.
I think you
Accidents
said,
happen. I'll learn from
yeah.
it.
No, I agree. And I think something else you said that's very important is like, oh, well, you could have blamed the garage, but you just didn't make time for it, right? So instead, and I think that's another thing about becoming yourself is when you're practicing to become the person you want to be, is acknowledging, hey, okay, I didn't make time for this. Instead of getting upset and now trying to make time for it, I need to move along, but I need to do better later. I need to do better tomorrow. And I think that's part of it. I think we need to stop holding ourselves down and guilty for not getting where we want to be today. stop beating yourself up. You are amazing. You are beautiful inside and out. And just because you couldn't show up how you wanted to show up today doesn't mean you're not going to show up that way tomorrow and the next time you have the opportunity. You have to
Yep.
just tell yourself, next time, this is what I would do better. This is how I would show up better. And then maybe even make an opportunity. Like, let's say you fumbled a ball with your child today. Like, it happens, right? Like, you guys are just not connecting, right? You're doing so many things. Your child has so many things going on. You're just not connecting today. Let me be honest. It happens, right? But maybe instead it's like, well, my child really likes when he stays up a little later from bedtime and read an extra book. Let me make an extra 10 minutes in my nighttime routine to do this instead, right? And I think that sometimes we have to realize it's not in the moment the opportunity we think we're going to get to solve the problem, to become the person we want to be. It's the moments that we have to create ourselves.
Yeah. And next episode, we're going to talk about like when routines change and like when boundaries shift and when not everyone like understands like
Yeah.
these changes that you want to make. And they're like, why do you want to change? Why do you want to be different? Like what? And because it kind of challenges them in a way, like they feel like it challenges them. It doesn't, it's you and your life, but we're going to talk all about that in the
I'm
next
excited. We can
episode.
talk about
I
this stuff
know.
forever. So I'm excited. We'll
This
see
is
you
like
next
our,
week then.
this is like the things we love talking.
We literally, like, I think we'll eventually, like, get to the point where we're actually, like, maybe showing more of, like, our personal conversation, like, through vlogs or through whatever. But, we have goals here, people. Like, we don't just want to, like, share podcasts with episodes because this is what we love. This is what we started with. But, like, we have, like, a whole empire, like, like Women Nation, like we want to build here, right? Like we want to build a
Got a
community.
community to grow. We said at the same time. Oh my
We just
lord. I love us. I think homework for this episode would be to sit down and just, even if it's just one thing, like one thing that you want to start embodying in your everyday life.
yeah.
It could be a habit, like it could be that, or it could just be like an identity thing. Like I am going to practice more patience with my children, or I'm going to practice, saying no when I don't really want to say yes, and or practice slowing down, or
Yeah.
practice putting more time into my activities so that if I'm late, I'm not really late when the
Yeah, and
garage
I think
doesn't close.
and I love this as a homework assignment, and you might not be on this level either, so you might need to do the basic part of this homework where it's what about me do I love and what about me do I need to work on and what about me do I want to grow over the next, 30 days, right? And then it might just be that's the start of this project for you, and that's okay too. But we really want you to just take time and recognize how amazing you are and that there's so much room for growth though. And
Yeah.
it's okay. And I think so many times when you say this, people get uncomfortable. They're like, what do you mean? Like, I'm doing amazing. You are doing amazing. We never said you're not doing amazing. It's
Yeah.
we want you to keep growing and growing into the person you want to be. And I think Jackie used the perfect word, embody. Embody the right person. Embody who you want to be.
Yeah.
And we're going to end it here. And we love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you every Wednesday. Go back, listen to some other episodes. I will, if you're on YouTube, I've been trying to, at the very end, add a random episode or an episode that might connect with this one. So go check out another episode, share it with your friend. We really, like we said, want to build this community. We want you to know you are empowered, you are strong, you're amazing, and that we're in this together. And that there is someone else out there that's also in it with you.
Yes. I love our
Bye.
community. Love you.
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.